Kentucky has made the journey to Austin, Texas. They're getting ready to take on the Longhorns for the first time on the hardwood since Texas has been a member of the SEC. Important game, a lot of injuries to discuss. We're going to break it all down on today's episode of the Wildcats Today Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Stefaniak, writer over at Kentucky Wildcats on SI, joined as always by Carson Nash. Carson, how are we feeling? It's a big day today. Got a big weekend. Got a lot of basketball tomorrow. It's an exciting day. What's the weekend vibes?
Yeah, the vibes are great right now. I got the Bat Cats rolling behind me. Their doubleheader, their season starts today. So let's go Bat Cats. Got us feeling nicey because baseball season's right around the corner. But yeah, big game on Saturday against Texas to preview.
Well, it's funny. I mean, like you could say, I wish we were opening things up at home for the Bat Cat. No, I don't know if I'd want to be at Kentucky Pride Park in 36-degree weather right now. I don't know that. When it gets to being 72, I'll be parked there with a tall Sprite that you'll see me there.
I was going to say, a cold one on a Friday afternoon in the sun, even though it's 39 degrees, you could maybe sell me on it.
Yeah, but that's still a little chilling. But this, Carson, I think that I'm trying to sell the importance of this game to folks of late. I just, something about this basketball game. On our live we did on whatever day. Was that Tuesday or Wednesday? It feels
Tuesday.
Tuesday, forever ago. On our live, we talked about the importance of this game because we were looking further down the schedule. You look and you see a game against Bama in Tuscaloosa. You see a game against Auburn. You see a road game against Oklahoma, a road game against Missouri. You got some winnable home games against LSU and Vandy. There's some winnable games in there, but this 7-game stretch is not going to be any kind of easy task for this basketball team. And I think this is the game. I think we beat Vandy. I think we beat LSU at home. So that's 2 wins. We want to win worst case. We want to go 4-3 worst case scenario over these last handful of games, right? That we want that to be the worst case scenario. To do that, you have to win on Saturday, and then you have to win one you're not supposed to against Missouri, Auburn, Alabama. You have to win one of those games that you're not, probably Oklahoma as well. You're not supposed to, right? This game is massive, and the reason it feels bigger than I think it maybe might have been is because of the injuries. So, Carson, I mean, are you prepared? Are you mentally preparing to not have Lamont, Butler, and Jaxson Robinson tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, I just figured that to be the case. I would love to have them, but it just seems that it's trending that way, unfortunately.
I don't feel great about it. I think that I think neither of them are going to be out there. And that is a little concerning. We talked about on our live, Pope's, it sounds like, we'll be lucky we'll see in a few weeks. You never want to hear that because once you get a few weeks, we've only got 7 games left in conference play. Now, we're pretty much locked in the tournament now. I mean, I don't think we're going to go 0-7, but I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I think we're fine in the tournament. I'd rather them healthy for Nashville and for wherever we go in the NCAA tournament. So want those guys back. I anticipate both of them being out. What would be a great sign is if both of them, one of them was listed as questionable, even if they don't play tomorrow, because that to me says they're getting there. It does hurt having these 2 guys not out there, knowing that they are your main ball handlers, with Kerr, of course, still out, not on the floor for the Cats. So I don't, Carson, I mean, convince me. How do we win this basketball game, assuming those 2 guys don't play? How do we win this game in Austin?
Yeah, I think you get a lot of Kobe Brea and Ortega with the ball, especially bringing it up the court and mixing in Travis Perry and even letting Trent Noah get more clock as well because we're going to need him to shoot the ball. But I think it really comes down to Amari Williams dominating, really. I think we really, really need to own the glass and have him dictate the pace of play. So I think Amari is the biggest key in this game.
I mean, I wouldn't feel great about this ball game with both of those guys out there. Texas, to me, is a team that started the season ranked. They're underrated. And one thing that scares me is they have great players. When you have great players on any given night, you are capable of going out there and winning the basketball game that realistically, you probably shouldn't. So, I mean, Tre Johnson is leading the SEC in scoring at 19.3 points per game as a true freshman, a guy that's going to be a top 10 pick, probably a top 5 pick with the Rutgers guys and Flag. Then you look over, they got Kaluma, who came, where was he?
Kansas State.
Yeah, Kaluma comes over. He's averaging about 13 points a game. He's had some massive games this year. You got Trayvon Mark, who came over from, what's it called?
Arkansas.
Trayvon Mark, who is just a great player that had some good years with the Razorbacks. It's a veteran-led basketball team with a star player and a freshman. To me, it's kind of the perfect roster. I know it hasn't gone great for them. They're 4-8 in conference play, but it's that roster that can be scary, Carson. So, I mean, I think a great question. They've got some big guards. Trayvon Mark is 6'5". Kaluma is listed as a forward, but he's 6'7". He can shoot the rock. And then Tre Johnson's 6'6". How can Kentucky handle this defensively and handle this size?
Yeah, I think you're going to have to go big, honestly. I would like a lineup where maybe Ortega's at the 1, Kobe's at the 2, Trent Noah's at the 3, then Carr, and then Amari. You're going to kind of have to match their size a little bit and do the little things to the best of your possible ability. Like you got to shore up. No turnover margin you can't be turning the ball over a lot. You can't let up a ton of offensive rebounds to give them second chance opportunities. Just because missing Lamont and Jaxson is so crucial, you have to make sure you're doing the little things.
They're a team, Texas. They're not. They have one player in Shedrick, Caden Shedrick, who plays a lot of minutes. That's 6'11". Besides that, they're kind of one of those teams that has tall guards, but not a lot. Like they're all 6'6", 6'7". It's nobody. You don't got a bunch of 6'11", 6'10" guys out there. So they're like a big, small team, or it's kind of like they're small where they should be big and big where they should be small in essence. But they're a big basketball team, and you look at this roster, like Carson. If I showed you this Texas roster and I said, "What's their record in conference play with 7 games left?" I mean, would you say it's above 500?
Yeah, I probably would.
It's surprising that they are where they're at. I mean, so far this month, they beat the crap at LSU. They lose to Arkansas at home. They lose to Vandy in Nashville. They get steamrolled by Bama at home.
It seems to me that the talent is there. They're just not clicking.
Yeah.
They're not on all cylinders as a team, which is good for us because I feel like that's kind of the opposite way with us. Other than missing Lamont and Jaxson, that kind of takes away from team chemistry a little bit. But I feel like we gel together really well.
I'd say the only thing that's scary about that, I agree with you, the only thing about that that's a bit scary is the flip side of well, what if they click tomorrow? We just got to hope they don't click tomorrow night. Because if they click tomorrow, you know what I mean? Which once again, I'm not saying it's going to happen. They're just there's good players on this team, and they are capable of putting it together. Maybe not for the rest of the season, but for one night, for sure they can.
Well, that's why the SEC is so good this year. Any team can do that on any given night.
So I got a question for you, Carson. And we've talked about there's a lot of teams where it kind of reminds me of like Georgia with Ace and Newell, and they're like, this guy can score 24 and you can win the game. Does Tre Johnson feel like that guy to you, or do you think we need to really try and shut him down, or should it be a game where it's like, let him get his 24 and let's win the game? What do you think there?
Yeah, you want to let him get his 24, but you want to keep him inefficient so he keeps shooting, just not making as much, which is a technical I always say it's a technical turnover because like a long mid-range fading jump shot it'll go in like 30% of the time, 40% of the time for him, but that's the shot you want as a defense. So you'll take that. And as long as Tre Johnson could kill you as a distributor because he drives to the basket hard. If he passes the ball well, watch out because they'll have a lot of open looks and that could be dangerous. So you're going to want him to take those 4 shots on Saturday.
I tell you what, though, I think the worst shot in basketball is the mid-range jump shot. I just, you know what I mean? It's why are we shooting a shot 3 steps in front of the 3-point line? I just don't, for 2, I don't get it. But that kid, if I'm Texas's head coach, green light to shoot that dude has the best mid-range pull-up jump shot I've seen in college basketball, probably since another guy that played at Texas when we were young. I mean, he's seriously deadly at that mid-range jump shot. I don't know. I mean, every time I watch him play, he makes mid-range jump shots. So that's all I ever see him do. Now he can get to the rim. He can shoot threes. I mean, he shoots about 41% at home from three, about 38% overall in the year. So he's better at home, but the dude can shoot. The dude can get the rim, but that mid-range jump shot is lethal. Because I think what's going to happen is Kentucky fans, we're going to see him go up. We're going to go, oh, good. He took a stupid mid-range jump shot. Ooh, damn, it went in. You kind of get that with him. I was watching them against Alabama on Tuesday night, and he's just shooting these shots, and you're like, oh, man, that's a good turnover. Oh, no, doesn't even touch the net. It just straight through, nothing but net. Like,
yeah,
I mean,
they're like fade away, falling down, seriously. And it goes in.
Because he's an NBA player. He is an NBA player. So, who draws that assignment? I said Oweh in an article.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say I think you stick Oweh on him because even though he's a little bit smaller in height, he's quicker than Tre is. So, and Tre has to dribble a little higher, which may cause some steals if Otega can pay attention and really lock in.
You know, I have a player, and I might pick him to be my MVP later in a minute more time, but I want to know what player I think needs to step up and have a big game on Saturday, and I'll give you one hint. I think based on who we're missing, assuming those two guys don't play, it's probably not it's not a player you would expect me to pick based on those two guys we're missing. You want to take a guess here?
Andrew Carr.
Ball knower. Yeah, I think Carr. Did you see the article I wrote?
No.
Okay.
No, I was gonna say the same thing.
We need Andrew Carr to be Andrew Carr. And I mean, God love the kid. He's been struggling with his back injury. I mean, he told the media, he's getting closer and closer. To be honest with you, if I had to guess, I bet he's 85% right now. I bet he was 65%, and he's getting better. And I believe he's going to get back to 100%. But we need that guy that we saw against Duke and we saw against Gonzaga that was getting those tough buckets and flexing on people and making the and one free throws and giving us big. I mean, he went, played 19 minutes, goes 0 for 3 against Tennessee with 2 turnovers. There's only 2 points, came with the free throw line, no rebounds, no assists. Like, those were 19 not great minutes. And we need Andrew Carr back to being Andrew Carr. And I just think in a game where you're likely without 2 starters, 2 of your best players, you need him to step up. And I mean, I think if there's going to be a game for Andrew Carr to have his I'm back, mother truckers, this is the game for him to do it.
Yeah, he's so good on the road too. Like previously with the Gonzaga game and Duke, even though they're listed as neutral site games.
Yeah.
The Duke one was, but Gonzaga was a road game. I think also he could be a huge positional advantage for us in this game because if you stick Kaluma at the 4, he's a little undersized. So having Andrew Carr at 7 foot at our 4 would be very huge in this game just to make the easy things a little easier. Get some easy layups, boxing out on rebounds would be a little easier. So we need a big Andrew Carr game.
I just kind of think it's coming. I mean, if someone wants a FanDuel dart throw for tomorrow, Andrew Carr, 15 points, I bet you it's plus 400. I mean, it might, he's averaging 8 points in SEC play. And that's if you eliminate the Tennessee game where he played 1 minute and didn't score. Like if you add that, he's probably averaging like 6-7 points. So, it's not, I mean, what was he averaging before SEC play started? It had to have been like 12 points.
Yeah, it was definitely over double figures for sure.
And now he's down to 8. He's down to 9 points per game on the season, 9.6, I believe. In SEC play, it's 8.2. And once again, that's if you eliminate, it should be eliminated, but if you eliminate that one game. So I
just think he's a whole lot more skilled than what he's giving right now. And I think the majority of the reason for that is the injury. So getting him back healthy will be huge.
So what do you think? And I don't know much. I've watched Texas play. What do you think this home environment? Do you think people give a damn down there right now?
I think they're a little upset. I have a good buddy that's a Texas fan, and he's a little underwhelmed this season because, like we said, they have tons of talent. They just haven't really shown anything as a team. They're 15-10. They think they should be a lot better than they are right now because you do have Tre Johnson, and that kid is a absolute stud. He's a diaper dandy, baby.
Yeah.
I think they're a little underwhelmed right now. So I don't really know how the crowd's going to be. I mean, it is us coming down there, so it'll be rocking a little bit for sure. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
I have this feeling. I was telling Cameron this today. I have this feeling that now we'll be at Burl Brew, which good things tend to happen when we're at Burl Brew. But I just think that this is going to be a great basketball game. Like I have this feeling of like it's just going to be like an ESPN instant classic. Obviously, they're not going to make an ESPN instant classic about 15 Kentucky versus Texas. I'm saying I think it's going to be a damn good game. I think it's going to be a really tight, good game. And we're going to give predictions in a little bit, but I mean, Kentucky does well when their backs are against the wall, Carson. That is, they do well when their backs are against the wall. They're also 5-1 as underdogs this season. And they are officially 1.5 point underdogs tomorrow. I'm curious to know what that line will end up when it was 7:59 tomorrow night.
Yeah.
But that'll be interesting. So we talked about Brea and Ortega, and we've talked about Carr, Amari. I mean, is there anybody else that you'd really like to see step up tomorrow? Because I mean, you need everybody on this roster to step up tomorrow.
I think a crucial Kobe Brea going for like 20 points type of game tomorrow. Yeah. He needs to hit more than 4 3-pointers tomorrow, in my opinion, just to make up for the missing out on the other guys. Or, I mean, it could come from Kobe or it could come from everyone, like we saw against Tennessee when Lamont went out. You could have help from Ansley and help from Travis at points and help from Trent. So as long as it's either someone's dominating or it's a team effort, I think we can get the job done.
I feel like this is the type of game where you need 3 guys to give you 12 plus points and then 6 total guys to give you like 8 plus points. Like that's going to be how we win this ball games. We need everybody to be scoring, everybody to get involved. You need your centers to play well. You need some of these guards. I mean, Amari's going to play a little bit of point guard on tomorrow night, but you need those guys to step up. So I'd
like to see Amari get paint touches early to open up the lanes for the shooters and everybody, because if they have to crash and help down on Amari, it'll make us shooting a whole lot easier.
But I guess my dramatic mic drop statement before we get out of here and give predictions and stuff about this game is, win or lose, mark this game down when it comes to when we finish SEC play and we look at our record, whether we win this and it's a 3-game winning streak, we lose, maybe we drop some in a row. This game, to me, I think in a weird way is the biggest remaining game on our schedule, because I think it and probably Oklahoma as well are the most winnable games. And they feel like if you want a chance to finish 5-2, 4-3, you got to win tomorrow night. So I just mark this game down. It's crucial for this team.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Texas and Oklahoma are the swing games, right? You know, Vandy should be winnable at home. It's Tuesday night. That should be a winnable game. But Texas and Oklahoma are really the two that you have to win if you're going to achieve what you want.
I mean, if you go 4-0 against LSU, Vandy, those 2-0 there at home, and then on the road against Oklahoma, Texas, which will not be easy. If you go 4-0 in those games, I think that we end up 5-2. Mm-hmm. I think if you go 2-2 in those games or 3-1, that's when 4-3, 3-4 comes into play. So tomorrow's game is massive. I'll tell you this: if we win tomorrow, I bet that we finish 5-2 over the next 7 games. That is tomorrow's key. So, Carson, give me the score prediction and the MVP for this ball game.
Yeah, I'm going to go. I think it's going to be a little higher scoring because they average 78 points a game. So I'm going to go 88 Cats, 84 Longhorns. Player of the game is going to be Kobe Brea on the road. And Uncle Mo is going to be in full effect for the Cats after that one.
If we win, it'll be 3 in a row. So it's a big one. I'm going to stick to trends, and I'm going to take the Longhorns. Now, knowing we're going to be watching the game, I like us, but I'm going to take the Longhorns. I think this is a shootout as well, because I think, they're not elite defense, which actually give me 5 seconds. I do want to pull up their where they are in KenPom defensively. Still scrolling.
They can't be great because they score about 79 points a game, so that means they're probably giving up.
Yeah. Their margins are actually not that bad. They're 34 offensively and 52 defensively. So they're both okay, not great. I think the Cats are going to lose by 1 point. I think it's going to be a painful one. I'm going to take the Longhorns to win this one 83-82. If I was going to pick an MVP, I think that I want it to be Andrew Carr, but I think Amari Williams has a big game for us. I think he's going to do a lot more ball handling than we know he's going to do a little, but I think he's going to do more than we've even kind of predicted. So my MVP would be Mario Williams. I think he's going to have a big one tomorrow night. Triple-double type of game watch for him. So any other thoughts we get out of here, Carson?
That's it. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody, and I hope you have a good rest of your Friday.
Everyone have a great Valentine's Day. We really appreciate y'all being here. Hit that subscribe button if you have not already. We appreciate that. Enjoy the ball game tomorrow, and we will see y'all next time right here on the Wildcats Today podcast.